I declare this ceremony open. Please be seated. Colleagues, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, as Vice-Chancellor, I welcome you to this graduation ceremony for the School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment. I would also like to welcome our Nottingham Trent Students' Union Honorary Award recipient, Pete Dalton, also known as Mr. Jam. I know of an inspiration to our students, Pete, when you talk later on and share some words of wisdom about your career and how you got to be where you are. These ceremonies are the highlight of the academic year. It's a time we share and celebrate the success of our students. So to our graduands, I'd like to offer my own personal congratulations on the academic achievements that are about to be recognised. I would like you to pause for a moment, though, graduands, and just think about those people behind you who've made this all possible, your family, your friends, your relations. And join me in a round of applause to thank them for all they've done over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been another successful year for the university, and as we take pride in being a teaching-intensive university, I thought I'd say a few words about our educational provision. Every 5 years or so, every university in the UK has a peer review where people come and visit us for a week and assess the quality of our teaching. They came in February this year, and we're delighted that we were confirmed as meeting all national expectations. But beyond that, we got commendations from the panel for the quality of our relationship with employers and for the way in which we handle and develop the employability of our students. And indeed, today, the latest graduate employment data is released, and we find that once again, our graduate employment rate has gone up. In a way, this isn't a surprise because we've been working really hard to make sure that our students really value and appreciate what we do. And in the most recent National Student Survey, we were told that 87% of our students are satisfied or very satisfied with their education at Nottingham Trent, which is ahead of the sector average. And indeed, we're ranked 13th in the What University Student Choice Awards this year. Now, like most things in life, there are lots of awards for higher education, and we took the top and run-up spot in the Guardian Award for teaching excellence. And I think that just demonstrates our bold and innovative approach to how we handle pedagogy and our curriculum design. More impressively, we also won the prestigious Times Higher Education Award for student experience with something called the Student Dashboard, which is a tool that supports students and their tutors in discussing their personal and academic development. The other impressive thing this year was the Guardian Award for Business Engagement. We were successful because we have a great project called the Greenhouse Gas Project, where students go out and give advice to small companies on how they can reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. This is entirely in keeping with the university's philosophy and principles. We are one of the greenest universities in the world. Indeed, in the 2015 People and Planet University Green League, we were 4th out of all universities that were assessed. I said we are a teaching-intensive university, but we're also an enterprise university. We have a long reputation for our courses having sandwich years where students spend a year in industry or abroad. Increasing of our students undertake work placements, and the Hive, which provides support for student startups, has created 400 companies in the last 15 years, the majority of which still survive, employ 500 people with a turnover of £11 million last year. These are really good new jobs in the local economy. And we try and adopt that approach, that entrepreneurial approach, across all that we do. So, for instance, we're a major shareholder in Not TV, the most successful local BBC franchise. It wouldn't run without the contribution of our students. And such projects enable us to integrate work fully into the curriculum. But underpinning all that we do is research and scholarship. As with our teaching, our research is evaluated by our peers every 5 years. And this time round, in December, 100% of our research submitted under biomedical sciences, business and management studies, and psychology was categorised as world-leading or internationally excellent. We also have a series of world-renowned research groups that would stand comparison with the work done in any university anywhere in the world, including the John Van Gees Cancer Research Centre, which is doing crucial work on breast and prostate cancer. Central to the success of our university, and indeed to our students, is the commitment and talent of the academic staff here, many of whom join me on stage today. And these are the people, graduands, who I know have helped you achieve your ambitions during your studies with us. There are also staff, of course, in other roles, professional roles across our campuses, in student services, student support, security, catering. I know these colleagues are also very proud of working for NTU, and they also appreciate the way in which they help students achieve their ambitions. Again, I ask with you to join with me in showing your appreciation of all of their efforts. The other major contributor to the success of the university is Nottingham Trent Students' Union. And I'm delighted that they've been awarded the National Union of Students Student Union Year Award for 2015. So well done, Jez and colleagues, that's a great achievement. But every one of our schools at NTU strives for excellence. I want to say a few words about your school and what it's been doing over the past year. The School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment is a key partner in a major EU initiative in which the city becomes a European Union Future Cities demonstrator project which will explore a range of issues involved in creating a low-carbon urban environment. And crucially, local citizens will be at the heart to design the project, expressing their needs and how those issues can be addressed for mutual benefit. More immediately, the cricket season is now well and truly underway. And a product design student from the school has been working closely with Gunn and Moore, who are major producers of cricket bats, on research into cricket bat design. He undertook analysis of cricket balls hitting the bat in order to understand where it was put under the most stress and how this stress dissipated over the wood. The analysis confirmed that the sweet spot on a cricket bat, and this is important for you keen cricketers, is 19 centimetres from the bottom. This analysis will go a long way in helping Gunn and Moore to design a bat that will give them the very best performance. Let's just keep it away from the Australians. Overall, though, we provide an excellent education experience for around 30,000 students at the university, including 20,000 undergraduates. We're delighted that around 3,000 international students from over 100 countries choose to study with us every year. In our view, diversity is an educational benefit well beyond the classroom. And in this context, we are genuinely really proud of being a university that has as many students in the UK from the poorest households as from the most well-off households. We believe that promoting participation and encouraging aspiration are central to our social mission. We are proud that we create graduates who make a strong civic, as well as cultural, environmental and economic contribution to our society. We believe that in so doing, we are making the world a better place for everyone. That is why we value our links to Nottingham so much, one of the UK's great cities, as I'm sure our graduands have discovered over the last few years. It's also why it's really important to us that our students undertake over 40,000 hours of volunteering in the community every year. Now you're about to graduate, you'll join our alumni. This is a body of over 125,000 former students across the world with whom we are in contact. As you've seen from the display before the ceremony started, they work in a range of occupations with a range of achievements. It is a great network. Do use it and do keep in touch as you make your way in life. In time, perhaps consider how you could help future generations of students, like our alumni have helped you with lectures, placements, careers advice, scholarships, and contributions to facilities and research. But that is for the future. Today, enjoy your success with your tutors, family, and friends. Before the Chancellor admits you to your degrees, I would like to present the Vice-Chancellor's Teaching Award. This award goes to a senior lecturer in the School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment. He leads modules in diverse aspects of civil engineering, including construction practice, technology, and management. He creates memorable, positive learning experience, and students' comments show how much they appreciate his enthusiasm, his energy, his engaging use of examples, the way he organises site visits and engages guest speakers in the programmes. Indeed, he organised 6 site visits in Term 1 alone, providing over 90 NTU students a chance to see for themselves what civil engineering is really all about. One colleague who nominated him for the award said, and this is a great quote, "Nick not only pulls back the curtain on civil engineering, but opens the window and sucks the students into this fascinating world." What a fantastic tribute. So in recognition of his inspirational teaching, the Vice-Chancellor's Teaching Award is presented to Nick Pryor.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. We will now present graduands with their awards, and I invite the stewards to bring forward the first group. Graduands, as you leave your seats, please remain in your current order to receive your certificates. Kevin Cahill, CBE, Chancellor of the University, will confer awards on students from the School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment. These students will be presented by the Dean, Peter Westland.
Chancellor, the following have qualified for awards from the School of Architecture, Design and Built Environment. Doctor of Philosophy degree, Haytham Al-Habri, whose research is on urban pattern and architecture of traditional Omani foothill settlements. Jie Shui, whose research is on a study of energy-related occupancy activities in a sample of monitored domestic buildings in the UK. Hyanjia Shin, whose research is on switching the human power back on, domesticating human power to practice energy-saving behaviour. Robert Keats, whose research is on the professional status of residential property management and evaluation of the development of professionalism in Europe and North America. Julian Robertson, I'll say that again, Julian Robertson, whose research is on qualifying and evaluating the risk posed to straw bale construction from moisture. Master of Architecture degree, Christina Chrysantho, Scott Hughes, and Kwan Yin Martin Chan. Chrisnathus Nalia, Chong Theng Yap, and Ugo Chineri Chinwendu Amandi. Bassam Shakur, Jason Trickett, and Hawi Alabisi Yosef. Master of Science degree in Construction Management, Mawas Alaibdi. Master of Science degree in Structural Engineering with Management, Ahmed Syed Galadansi. Marios Papasoupelos and Othman Al-Jamali. Bachelor of Architecture degree with honours, Emma Kaur, Ragurash Lackman, and Samuel Letchford. Harriet Littlewood, Lucy Peacock, and Juan Uez Calvico. Mohammed Afzal. Clavuslo Aristu and William Ashworth. Claire Bicknell, Jamie Craven, and Chi Zhao. Bethany Hamlet, Mark Hargreaves, and Jennifer Hodge. Scott Howarth, Morhan Kanjo, and Tamir Kara Mehmed. Jonathan Knight Fallows, Ewan Way Frederick Liu, and Matthew Mahandru. Alice Power, Eleanor Riley, and Liam Seaman. Taliza Thomas, Sarah Wright, and Mustafa Abunafal. Sahil Arora, Oliver Bostock, and Jade Craddock. Lee Davis, Connor Doyle, and Ross Elmore. Sarah Grace, Christopher Kutsudes, Wing Kit Lu, and Arthur McLean. Lucy Morn, Jimmy McAdam, and Kelly Oakley. Anushka Patel, Joshua Phillips, Helena Singleton. Andrew Stout, Fraser Streetfield, and Nikita Salmon. Callum Sykes, Mark Wadsworth, and Dean Aka-Uye. Tamara Nkrumah and Usman Razik. Bachelor of Arts degree with honours in Furniture and Product Design. Dominic Swur, Gabby Janus Uskit, and Zikora Obi. Imogen Aylwin, Leo Dolan, and Michael Fielding. Catherine Firmston, Christopher G., and Thomas Goodman. Lucia Greco, Riddy Lodia, and Jenna Parkinson. Oliver Priest, Amy Turner, and Chantel Villetti. Mark Wood, Hannah Willard, and Samuel Bellamy. Mark Bennett, Nicola Bennett, and Anna Benson. Robert Freeman, Anna Reeve, and Benjamin Smith. Frida Vandenpump, Chelsea White, and Rebecca Wild. Callum Gardner and Beta Roska. Bachelor of Arts degree with honours in Interior Architecture and Design. Siti Karina Khalid, Yi On Tan, and Rebecca Wandsworth. Olivia Child and Ji Chong Fong. Yusuke Fujiwara, Aik Lim, and Tanya Mitchell. Audrey Chin Zien, Mi Chen Yong, and Zikora Ilonia. Isabel Truslow, Victoria Blizzard and Rosemary Cook. Bridie Haywood, Jordan James Bruce, and Michael McFeet. Francis Morton, Kiran Rashid, and Laura Sinclair. Gintir Organtate, Abigail Wheatcroft, and Louisa Whitehead. Sophie Whitfield, Cleo Allen, and Stuart Barclay. Sunga Bayan, Louisa De Silva, and Milda Danent. Evangeline Francois, Natasha Gavin, and Rachel Gilbert. Natalie Hassel, Thomas Isles, and Phoebe James. Katie Johnston, Sharon Juantuta, and Harriet Lang. William Linnell, Eve Lister, and Chiksitong Ma. Rebecca Phillips, Tashana Rose, and Jennifer Smith. Emily Stiegels, Sophie Brown, and Amy Cutler. Kelly Frost, Emma Harding, and Miriam Mian. Shelby Rodriguez, Rebecca Smith, and Sarah Chomchek. Yating Zhao and Tyler DeMuth. Bachelor of Arts degree with honours in product design. Jack Parkinson, Naomi Hutchinson, and Thomas Plummer. Thomas Rozecki, Michael Spencer, and James Winstanley. Astrid Wong, Thomas Wright, and Wing Hee Lee. Vincenti Vincent Rodriguez. Timothy Andrews and Joseph Burnham. Hannah Burt, Rebecca Garner, Tanya John, and Esther Loke. Gemma Noakes, Eleanor Richards, and James Salisbury. Thomas Blois, Charlotte Bogic, and Sarah Ann Cooper. Imania Hamza, Samuel Hawkins, and Alice Hood. Henry Hoff, Richard Johnson, and Catherine Lana. Lauren Newman, Julie Nishman, and Stephanie Oddy. Jasmine Pigott, Oluwakimi Salu, and Rosie Salter. Gary Steele, Isel Venhar, and Jonathan Vincent. Jack Winfield, Carl Worthington, and William Barwell. Brianna Bowe, Alexander Campbell, and Nicholas Constantinou. Simon Farthing, Anthony McLean, and Amber Nature. Rachel Ottaway, Sam Powell, and James Proctor Owen. Liam Robinson, Adam Russell, and Reese Hopkins. Laura Johnson and Reese Thomas. Bachelor of Engineering degree with honours in Civil Engineering. William Clifford Palmer, Al Harath, El Shibani, and Sean Gaffney. Adam Giles, Lewis Hebblewhite, and Mohammed Al-Aridi. Fergus Al-Bagley, Ahmed Al-Fadhili, and Lloyd Barker. Prius Papa Christodoulou, James Betts, and Christopher Burt. Christopher Cobham, Laura Davies, and James Dunlop. Christian Fowler, Matthew Gray, and Gerdit Lander. Dominic Makiewicz, Jack Mason, and William Pean. Matthew Preece, George Shears, and Rose Spicer. Joseph Stanway, Adam Webster, and William White. Ryan Baker, Simon Barker, and Hugo Burton. Jordan Chapman, Alice Fern, Matthew Hatson, and Neil Humberston. Birkin Cahal and Ryan McAllister. Christopher Owen Hughes, Timothy Perkins, and Govinda Sandhu. Maslam Surikam, Jacob Sutton, and Harry Ward. Jan Oliver Wells, Joshua Bila, Simon Cottington, and Joshua Hall. That concludes the presentation of awards for the first group of graduates.
I am pleased to invite Jeremiah Anson, President of the Students' Union, to give the oration for our Nottingham Trent Students' Union Award for 2015 for Pete Dalton, and to present him to the Chancellor to receive his award.
It is usual at these graduation ceremonies to invite a special guest to share the limelight with our graduates. They come to receive an honorary distinction not because they have been successful on a course, but because they have done amazing things and they enrich the lives of others. Through their achievements and their personalities, our special guests add extra gloss, even a touch of magic to the occasion. They can inspire students and new graduates because they come as people who are living the dream. That is certainly the spirit in which today's special guest was nominated by the Students' Union. He is Nottingham's very own Peter Dalton, who has achieved fame as the relentless, resourceful, and award-winning DJ Mr. Jam. But DJ is far too brief a label for his talents. His website lists broadcaster, tastemaker, businessman, father, ambassador, presenter, creative director, consultant, trainer addict. Such versatility is the trademark of his success. Jam is one of the prime voices on BBC Radio 1 Extra with a direct line Monday to Thursday evenings to an audience of 15 to 30-year-olds. On Saturdays, he links up with Radio 1 itself from 7 p.m. with a show that boasts that Saturday nights starts right here. He mixes music with humor, knowledge and enthusiasm. He conducts entertaining but probing interviews with performers. His choice of music on radio as a club DJ or at festivals and other events is characteristically urban, a description that covers many different scenes, shades and attitudes. As he says, it's his own style that comes from growing up in the 90s exposed to so many different things as a mixed-race boy in a multicultural society. And Jam is a multi-stranded artist in his own right. In Nottingham, he attended the city's celebrated television workshop, that seedbed of so much young performing talent. Before he was 20, he had roles on EastEnders and other TV and radio shows, and he has been in a West End stage musical. With his schoolmates, he tried drumming in their bands, but his dream was to be behind the decks. As a young boy, he played discs over and over on his little Fisher-Price record player, particularly the reggae anthem, Barrington Levy's Here I Come. At 14, he was DJing for real and was so good that he started teaching the skills in a local recording studio and joined the community radio station. He applied himself to sound engineering and reviewed music in magazines. In 1997, he was invited to demonstrate his talent on Radio 1 Extra as a guest of hip-hop presenter Tim Big Dog Westwood. That visit convinced him he wanted to be a broadcaster. He worked with the Nottingham hip-hop crew Out the Ville and had a day job with a credit card company. He ran his own event, Heavyweight, in the old Students' Union building and had a regular spot on the union's award-winning station, Fly FM. In 2005, his dream turned into reality. He joined Radio 1 Extra. His radio programs have become a trusted showcase for cutting-edge music, but he is no mere linkman between the tracks. His fluency, knowledge, and insight have been refined over years of application and practice. His command of the subject provides context for what he plays. He encourages newcomers and he celebrates established stars. In a recent show, he played all of Janet Jackson's UK Top 40 hits to mark her birthday. His format is entertainment that is subtly educational. It has won him some of the highest accolades in the broadcasting profession, including a Sony Radio Academy Bronze Award for Music Broadcaster of the Year 2011 and 2012, and a Silver Award for Best Specialist Music Programme 2011. Beyond radio at clubs and festivals, from Ibiza to Glastonbury and on student campuses with his own speaker box and UK takeover events, he has acquired an international profile. In the eyes of the Student Union, Jam's career is an example that shows how in difficult times, when it is not always possible to land your ideal job straight away, hard work and dedication can lead to success. Peter Dalton is a 21st century man of many talents. He could say, as Barrington Levy's song sang on his Fisher-Price deck years ago, I'm broad, I'm broader than Broadway. It gives me great pleasure to present you Mr. Jam, Peter Dalton, being a person distinguished in eminence and by attainments for the conferment of the Honorary Award of the Nottingham Trent Students' Union in recognition of his significant contribution to broadcasting and the celebration and appreciation of music.
Wow. Thank you very much for those kind words, Jez. To whoever wrote it, I may be looking for someone to ghostwrite my autobiography, as the person who normally writes them for radio DJs and minor celebrities is currently working on Zayn Malik's. So if you'd like to earn a bit of cash, please come and see me afterwards. To say this is a great honour would be the biggest understatement of the year. Not only because when I dropped out of my A-levels to take a job acting in a daytime TV soap, I thought my chances of accepting an honour from Nottingham's best university were gone. My initial plan before daytime TV came calling was to get some strong grades in the English, Media and Business Studies A-levels I was studying for, and then enrol here on either a Media, Journalism and Communication or Contemporary Arts degree course. Life obviously had different plans for me, and my hopes of joining the alumni of this noble institution I thought had died. Famous alumni such as Matt, Toast of London, Mighty Boosh and Garth Marenghi Berry, Stephen Sky News Dixon, Ed Friendly Fires McFarlane, Christian Absolute Radio O'Connell, as I was reliably informed last night, the parents of Damon, Blur and Gorillaz Albarn, and most importantly, and probably most famously, Claire, my beautiful wife, Dalton. If truth were told, this is just the latest in a very long line of things I have to be grateful to the East Midlands Best University for. It's safe to say that without this wonderful bastion of further education, my life wouldn't be what it is now. Age 7, as part of the infamous Nottingham Television Workshop, my first ever acting role was as Rabbit Robert in a production of The Wind in the Willows held in the theatre in the historical Waverley building here at NTU. I've purposefully not brought my mother here today to ensure the photos of me in Argyle socks and bunny ears weren't passed around the auditorium, because she would pass those around, trust me. Age 16, and being thanks to the size that I am now at the age I was then, I was able to strongly persuade a few of the broadcast journalist students into allowing me to take 2 of the 6 slots available for non-students on the multi-student radio award-winning Fly FM's limited FM licence. Memories of me playing vinyl records and jingles from floppy disk in the old Fly FM studios to literally dozens of listeners around Nottingham truly ignited the passion that I have for radio that has ultimately led me to now broadcasting 14 hours of live radio on 2 of Europe's biggest radio stations today. Age 22, having moved back home to Nottingham after a stint in a West End musical and being forced to get a day job in order to earn enough money to move out of my parents' house for good, it was at that day job that I would meet the single most important person in my life. It wasn't the chance to work on the phones alongside me in, I stress, what was then one of the world's dodgiest credit card companies at the height of PPI mis-selling that brought this lady all the way from Leicester to Nottingham. It was Nottingham Trent University. NTU's criminology department, no less. That lady was Claire Fenton, now Claire Dalton, my wife, my rock, my partner in crime, and truly the reason why I'm able to achieve all that I have done in the last 10 years. Without her, I wouldn't be here. even though I should have been allowed to take some credit for the 2-1 that she received from here, having spent many nights personally fueled by ProPlus and supermarket own brand energy drinks, editing page upon page of her essays and dissertations. It wasn't meant to be for me to be able to claim alumni status from the United Kingdom's best university. Until, albeit honorarily, now. For those things I've just mentioned, I'm so truly grateful to you, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, and the whole student union here at Nottingham Trent, past and present, especially those of you who have had a hand in me getting this major honour today. I'd like to take this opportunity to hopefully impart some words of advice that I hope will help you as you leave the comfort of Europe's best university and take your first few tentative steps out into the real world. I learned very quickly in the real world that anything worth having is worth working hard for. Tenacity, experience, knowledge, and creative thinking are key. Nothing comes easy and nobody owes you anything, but what your degree from NTU will now do is give you that unfair advantage, that edge that others won't have who may be going for the same job as you. Your degree from NTU says you know what hard work is and you're not afraid of it. Your degree from NTU says you're ready for the next challenge and you're ready to shape the future. Your degree from NTU says you were able to survive 3 years in Nottingham, and you now know that the correct word for a bread roll is a cob. Make no mistake, you are the future of the world. Nottingham Trent University's class of 2015 are the future politicians, lawyers, broadcasters, journalists, accountants, architects, teachers, translators, civil engineers, designers, technicians, directors, translators, civil engineers, designers, technicians, directors, civil engineers, professors, lecturers, producers, criminologists, CEOs, civil engineers, executives, managers, performers, professionals, scientists, and entrepreneurs. Above all, your degree from NTU says you've studied in the world's best university, and now you have the letters after your name to prove it. To paraphrase the multi-award-winning, multi-platinum Canadian rapper Drake, you started as a fresher, now you're here. Now go and change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Would the stewards please bring forward the next group of graduands? I invite the Chancellor and the Dean to return to their places on stage.
Chancellor, the following have also qualified for awards from the School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Architectural Technology. Mitchell O'Shea, Liam Feldman and Tajuddin Ibrahim. Joseph Manda, Mohammed Ravat and Thomas Slough. Matthew Smith, Abitola Mohammed Omatola and Rebecca Emmett. William Smith, Georgina Hallam and Helen Beresford. Scott Eben, James Fairclough and Joshua Fletcher. Nicholas Hodgson, Robert Kirk and Lehman Matoli. Stephen Morris. Joshua Nickhars. Philip Shilton. And Sharda Badoni. Ryan Cape, Faisal Malaji, and Nicole Parek. Fergus Ray, Manraj Ray, and Callum Smythe. Benjamin Thomas, Peter Tompkins, Lawrence White, and Rhys Bevins. Kei Chan, Matthew Johnson, Durham Rathood, and Patrick Hossman. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in building surveying. Konstantinos Chalambas, George Gardner, and Adam Smith. Stephen Buckmere, Mitchell Daly, and Soy Lee. Richard Shijerek, Ravi Vijela, and Daniel Bird. William Jenkins, Rebecca Orridge, and Alexander Skirm. Paul Webster, Christopher Whitfield, Dwayne Anderson, and Akil Aziz. Sophia Dunn, Jake Greatorix, and Naomi Grossman. George Harrison, Rebecca Heels, and Veena Kopal. Alexander Lee, Pritesh Patel, Chung K. Hung, and Nicholas London. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in civil engineering. Joshua Hall, Michael Phillips, and Izzy Abdi Ali. Tatenda Gutu, Jamie Tao, and Christian Pointkazeki. Nicholas Coombs, Joanne Ely, and Sean Garrett. Richard Cartwright, Daniel Edwards, Michael Freeman, and Thomas Ledley. James Bunyan, Robert Elcock, and Charles Hoyland. Timothy Jones and Thomas Morley. Alex Romanki, Jaspal Sathi, and Samuel Blackburn. Sean Buchan, William Hayward, and William Kiddle. Jack Kircher, William Livermore, and Caitlin Simon. Gurminder Samal, Jack Whitmore and Jordan Fisher. Jamie Johansson Otto, Jay Moriarty, James Thompson and Nicholas Watson. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Construction Management. Kurosh Sahili, Charles Blackburn and Faray Moyo. Emmanuel Shadanke, Simon Taylor and Elise Bulmer. James Fletcher, Ashley Inson, Ashley Bird and Alexander Malley. Joshua Martin, James O'Byrne and Craig Robinson. Nathan Smith, Robert Hodgkinson and Falak Hussain. Robert Addison, Charles Allen and Nathan Bakewell. Stuart Cannon, Jay Diaby and Tom Dixon. Richard Dobson, Jamie Donaghy and James Long. Paul Muta, Avnish Pakania and Sam Peach. Peter Simkin, Timothy Stead and James Williams. Benjamin Fraser, Hamish Ganga and Darren Hodgett. Max O'Farrell and Alex Tipple. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Construction Property Management, Ross Weatherburn. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Planning and Development, Charlotte Jones, Joseph Jones and Ola Wabi Ola Walaja Omale. Oliver Brooks, Christian Colbeck and Christopher Ellis. Nathan Hutchins, Christopher Jackson and Ross Whiting. Cameron Donzage, Christopher Foote and Hannah Mullane. James Pimlett and Claire Sampson. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Product Design, Kaylee Ann Nixon, Charlotte Gravel and Jonathan Hallett. Sean Keane, Louis Senior and Max Elson. Lucy Appleby, William Brackfield, and Thomas Calaby. Callum Field, Benjamin Garrett, and Samuel Gribben. Harneil Heer, Adam Holmes, and Andrew Jones. Connelise, Ipling Sum, and Christopher Price. Daniel Scott, Lucy Woodhead, and Amy Armstrong. Jed Brown, Amy Crabtree, and Adam Humble. Stephen Jessup, Stephen Curtin, and Wing Ng. Kelly Razon, George Tucker, Olivia Hayton, and Fardeen Sow. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Property Finance and Investment. Cheyenne Notra, Amandeep Singh, and Lydia Tata. Alexander Palmer, Babatunde Hamed, and Dominic Knowles. Joseph Nagel, Servan Rathod, Oliver Myers, and Thomas Lee. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Quantity Surveying. Carl Ellis, Jivan Bilku, and Jaspreet Shanghar. Joshua Henshaw Bancroft, Kevin McGrath, and Chester Short. Andrew Frost, George Furnival, Shirang Shandarana, and Rowan Keegan. Michaela Llewellyn, James Louthian, Adam Lynch, and Charles Shepherd. George Simons, Richard Stone, Kieran Walsh, and Jack Duffy. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in Quantity Surveying and Construction Commercial Management. Niall Quigley, Charles Tomlinson, and Raja Sansudin. Thomas Beadles, Edward Hickson, and Christopher Iliff. George Parkin, Daniel Roberts, and Rachel Smith. George Taylor, Gerard Gilgrass, and Callum McGregor. Caelan McAndrew, Ross McGregor, and Robin Newman. Joseph Wilgoose, Adam Brooks, and Christopher Burke. Lawrence Coulson, Katarzyna Maciejek, and Jamie McClellan. Prita Mistry, Stephen Moore, and Ryan Murray. Jonathan Nottingham, Jordan O'Neill, and Nalidi Priest. Ragalan Raghavan, James Rawstrom, and Magdalena Waziluska. Matthew White, Gangdeep Bara, and Sean Bond. Joshua Chima, Daniel Davidson, and Thomas Floyd. Ashley Gunnell, Akil Hussain, and Alice Makin. Joseph McCarthy, Mark Mitchell, and Joseph Walker. Sean Ward and Thomas Whitehouse. Bachelor of Science degree with honours in real estate. Jack Farrell, Lorenzo Baines, and Piers Cook. Christopher Cowper, Ross Jackson, and Edward Powell. Connor Crabb, Sebastian Prince, and Samuel Brown. Rebecca Hare, Alexander Jowett, and Guy Mitchell. Giovanni Pilla, Christopher Upton, and George Busfield. Henry Cody Owen, Alexandra Darlington, and Alexander Elsey. Sophie Hunt, Charles Kelly, and Ricky Linford. Vincent Morris, Mario Pericleus, Robin Spencer George, and Charlie White. Bachelor of Science degree with honours, Patrick McNicholas. I now invite the Chancellor to present our next award this morning. This award goes to a graduate who has just received an honours degree in furniture and product design. This graduate is motivated in all she does by her desire for sustainable development through upcycling of what others might regard as waste. This was her inspiration during her time at NTU, and I have no doubt will continue, where she has developed an impressive academic and vocational set of skills through design. She demonstrated excellent leadership skills while at NTU. During her placement year with designer Sarah Turner, she took a 4-month sponsored sabbatical to work as a teaching assistant in an art and design technology department at Nottingham Girls Academy. Here she's taught and inspired the practice of sustainability with design, particularly product and furniture. One notable initiative was where she led a team of school children to design and build a tank from recycled Coca-Cola bottles as part of Nottingham's centenary commemorations of the start of the Great War. An excellent advocate for the university, this graduate has been a motivating force on open days and offered her time at numerous question and answer sessions with the International College, international students, and Erasmus Exchange scholars. This graduate is currently setting up her own business, specialising in bespoke design and manufacture, and also plans to return to teaching to encourage school children to follow her design methodology and design methods. We wish you all every success with this and future endeavours. The Vice-Chancellor's Award for the School of Architecture, Design and the Built Environment is presented to Catherine Firmston. That concludes the presentation of awards from the School of Architecture, Design and Built Environment to former students at this morning's ceremony. Thank you.
In absentia. Chancellor, I invite you to confer degrees on those candidates who have not been presented to you in person, but who have indicated that they wish their awards to be conferred in their absence. I certify that these graduands are worthy to receive their degrees, and I stand as proxy for them. Thank you, Chancellor. Catherine Firmston, who earlier received a BA Honours in Furniture and Product Design and the Vice-Chancellor's Award, will now propose a vote of thanks.
Today is the day where we celebrate the achievements of our graduates, and while we're feeling extremely proud and grateful for the recognition, we should not forget all of those who have helped us make this impressive milestone. On behalf of my fellow graduates, I would therefore like to offer thanks to all of those who have helped along the way, and if I do not mention you specifically, you are all important to our success. I would first like to give thanks to the Chancellor, Kevin Cahill, and the Deans of School for presenting us with our awards today. I would like to thank the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Edward Peck, for the dedicated work supporting the university and driving the organisation to a place where we are, as a university, high in the rankings. Today's ceremony and the opportunity to celebrate our achievements would not be possible without the dedication and tireless attention to detail by the Academic Office ceremonial team, who have already presided over many ceremonies this week, with several more to go. The teaching and support staff for their advice, guidance, patience and tutorial support that enable us to achieve our potential and in many cases surpass it and reach this defining milestone in our careers. After transferring courses from product design to furniture and product this year, I was so nervous, but after being welcomed with open arms by the tutors and my peers alike, I have thrived, achieving things beyond what even I thought was possible, and now I know reaching for the stars isn't quite so hard. I would also personally like to mention here some of the unsung heroes without whose assistance I would not be standing here today. The backroom and office people who have helped keep both staff, students and tutors alike organised. The workshop staff, without whose advice and guidance I would be a gibbering wreck, frustrated at my inability to transform my ideas into reality. I feel the student support services also deserve our thanks, as although not everyone may use them or realise they are there, they are always happy to help. We should also remember the support, both financial and emotional, from our families, fellow students and friends, without whom life would have been so much harder. Their tireless encouragement and belief in our abilities to give strength through the critical times close to a crucial deadline. From my own experience, those late night phone calls home, panicking over the size of a problem and time available, soon became an in-joke. After all, how do you eat an elephant? One step at a time. So thank you for travelling here to be with us and help us celebrate. I was lucky enough to do a sandwich course with a year-on placement, so I know how those of you heading off to your first proper job are feeling. The trepidation, nervousness, fear of the unknown. I just hope you're all as lucky as I was to find such a wonderful mentor, friend, and confidant in your first positions as I had with Sarah Turner in mine. Some of you will know my passion for upcycling and reuse. So to conclude, I would like to repeat a quote from Thomas A. Edison, he of the light bulb fame. "Waste is worse than loss. The time is coming when every person who lays claim to the ability will keep the question of waste before him constantly. The scope of thrift is limitless. So when you go away from here, remember, you have the ability." Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I now invite the Chancellor to draw this ceremony to a close.
It's my privilege to bring this ceremony to a close. I became Chancellor just a year ago. This is my second summer. And it's a huge privilege to turn up on a day like this. I get enormous vicarious pleasure from seeing the joy that's in the room and, witnessing all of you now becoming graduates, and you are graduates, and it's a wonderful thing to be. It's particularly pleasing because, in a way, the people who've done the hard work have just been thanked in your excellent address, and they're on the stage here, and they're all of you and the parents. And my position is an honorary one, so it's almost like I'm dropped into this day of joy, yesterday and today, and I can just really take, as I say, vicarious pleasure at your extraordinary hard work. So I'd like to add my congratulations to the ones of Edward earlier, and say you've all done such a brilliant job. It's such a special day. It's Peter alluded to this in his speech, but it's a rite of passage, really. You're going on to the next big step in your lives. But I would encourage you to enjoy the rest of the day. I'm sure that you will. And you've been lucky to attend Nottingham Trent University while it's at the top of its game. And I said it's been a year since I was here, but it's been a big year as well for the university. It's been a big year for the sector, with the whole university sector and higher education sector challenged by some of the changes in funding of public services and so on. The university was lucky enough to appoint a new vice-chancellor this year, and Edward has really been on his game and looking to the future and doing what every great leader does, which is to kind of make sure that the organisation that they're leading is fit for the future and can tackle it with confidence. And to that end, he's led the whole university. It's been a consultative process where everyone's played a role in developing a new plan, a strategic plan. And I'm just going to take a moment just to touch on 2 or 3 of the themes in that. I obviously can't do justice to it in a very short time, but they're important themes, and they're themes that will guide the next 5 years of the university's passage. One is this notion of valuing ideas, and without creativity and innovation, and I think many of you have displayed in your achievements, in your degrees, essentially following innovative ideas and doing brilliant things. Without innovation and creativity, then an organisation will die. So valuing ideas is crucial in this next phase. Creating opportunity, Edward alluded to this, but making that link between the academic world, which is often thought to be a little bit isolated and out there, and the real world. And so every student who passes through the university has some link to the world of work and is building the skills that will take them on to the next stage. Enriching society, we've heard a bit about the enterprise and Hive and so on and so forth, but to set up a fund that specifically helps to fund small and medium-sized businesses that are run by students from the university is a wonderful thing, because there's nothing better in a way than being your own master and running your own business. So that's fantastic as well. And the last thing is this notion of connecting globally. We've heard that Nottingham Trent is not only the best university in Nottingham, but the best university in the world. And to that end, being connected in the world and driving world-class partnerships with other institutions, public bodies, I think is a critical way forward. In my day job, I have the privilege of running Comic Relief, and as I look around the room, I'm sure quite a few of you will have done things on either Red Nose Day or for Sport Relief to raise money to help people in the developing world and in the UK. And one of the brilliant things of my job is that I get to travel and I get to meet extraordinary people, particularly in the developing world, often extraordinary children. We made a film last year in South Sudan, in a refugee camp there. And a thing that often strikes me is the power of education in these situations and the passion for young people to become educated when they're living in extremely challenged and difficult situations. One of the girls we filmed with was called Scovia, and she'd had that experience where she was at home with her mum and dad, and suddenly they heard guns being fired. They could sense that an army was on the march and it was coming in their direction. And they basically had to grab whatever they could in about a minute or 2 minutes and flee and get away and run in the direction away from the guns so that they had some hope of survival. And in the course of doing that, they ended up in a refugee camp. It's an interesting and disconcerting thing, really, that there are more refugees in the world today than there ever have been in the history of the world. And most of those are there because of conflict. And 51% of the people living in refugee camps are young people under the age of 18, so they're a similar age to many of you in the room today. The average time a person spends in a refugee camp, this statistic really shocked me when someone shared it with me, is 16 years. I think we think that refugee camps are transient places where people are there for a while and then move back home. But actually imagine if you're a 4 or 5-year-old and you flee with your family and you end up in a camp, and actually if it's 16 years, you could come out at the age of 20 or 21, and effectively that could be your whole education wasted or seriously challenged. And this girl, Scovia, I'm just going to read this little quote from the film that we made, because this is what she said. She was 13 years old, and she said, "If I stay here in the camp, I don't think my future is going to be bright the way I need. I ran with my books. Even if I did not run with my clothes, but I just ran with my books. I want to have an education. That is in my planning. So I must have an education unless I am dead. But if I am alive, then I will." I just say that because it exemplifies really the extraordinary passion of many of the young people I've come across in the developing world who want to get educated. So in many ways, you're very lucky in the room today because you've had a world-class education here at Nottingham Trent. And the critical thing, I think, for you now is to make the most of that. Pete again alluded to this, but you should stay in touch with each other. You'll make, I don't need to tell you that, but you make some of your best friends in life at university. And so treasure those friendships and pursue them and keep them going as you move on in life. You're alumni of this fabulous institution now, so try and take advantage. Edward said there's over 100,000 active alumni, but try and become part of that group, because not only can it continue to enrich your own life, it can enrich the lives of the wider community. Another thing I'd say is don't fear failure. I was reading about Steve Jobs in his autobiography, and he said that the best thing that ever happened to him was being sacked by Apple. He'd gone there as chief executive, and the person he brought in to help him run it with him actually ended up sacking him, but Steve said that what that did was make him refocus, go away, think about coming again, having another idea. He invented Pixar, which then produced Toy Story, and Toy Story was the first, I think, computer animated children's film. And the rest is history, moving on to iPad, iPod, the iWatch, and so on and so forth. So failure sometimes can be a very good thing. Be passionate. Pursue your passions. Only do things that you like and that really, really interest you. Take risks. Be true to yourselves. And have a set of values as well. I think the values of the university are writ large and are powerful, but you would live by some of those, but also make sure you have your own value system and that you are a force for good in the world. Pete said that you are the future of the world, and as you move into the world of work, there are just 2 or 3 things I think you really should bear in mind. One is that if you're in a job that you don't enjoy and it's not doing it for you and you're frustrated, don't stick with that job. Find a new job. Do something you believe in. Oscar Wilde said, live your life to the full. All the others are taken, so live your own life to the full. So if you're in a place where you feel you should move on, make that happen for yourself. You've progressed so far because of, belief in yourself. You had to believe in yourself to be a successful student and to graduate. And being you is what matters. So as you achieve success and do different things, don't forget to be true to yourself and to be you. And then if you are lucky enough, which I'm sure many of you will be, to move on and to move up the career ladder and be leaders yourselves, CEOs or whatever, then it's really important to look after and take care of the people who work for you. The best way to motivate people in life is to not frighten them or rule by terror or fear, but to make people feel valued. I'm just about to wrap up now. I've got a couple of things. A friend of mine was chancellor of another university, and he passed on 2 stories to me, which I'll just conclude with. One was that I've seen you all taking pictures out front there. They're wonderful pictures that stay in the album, although in 10 or 15 years' time, you'll be amazed at how odd you all look in these gowns. I was looking at mine at home the other day, and times do change. You can't quite believe that is you in the picture. But it was a father and son who were being photographed. Picture being taken by the mother, and they were a little bit awkward. They didn't, often kind of stand together and get photographed, and she'd said, let's make this look a little bit more relaxed and a bit natural. And to her son, she said, put your arm around your dad, at which point the father said, if you want this to look natural, he should be putting his hand in my pocket. The other one, this friend told me, was as he was, and this happened a bit today. There were some screamers out there. Congratulations to you. But a girl came up, and there was a loud scream from the back. And my friend said, "Is that your mother?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you embarrassed?" And she said, "Actually, no. She's done far worse things in my life than that." So just on that note, because I did. As I say, I congratulated the half a dozen screamers we had, but the protocols of these affairs are often, you don't know quite what to do, whether to shout, scream, just clap politely. But I've got into this thing now, when I finish these little presentations, just to say we should, I think for at least 30 seconds or a minute, try in the room to make as much noise as we can. We should join the half a dozen screamers and all become screamers for a moment. So I'm going to count to 3, and I hope you could just make as much noise as you possibly can. And while you do that, I'll sit down, and it'll feel like a standing ovation for me. So, after 3, 1, 2, 3, let's scream, let's go for it. Yay!
Thank you, Chancellor. We would now like to invite you to join us for some refreshments. These are available in the Newton building, which can be reached through the Nottingham Conference Centre, and we look forward to seeing you there. Ladies and gentlemen, Please stand for the processional music and remain standing while the platform party leaves the hall.